Good to see you. Okay. I want to thank you very much for letting us come here to talk about our visions and purposes of trying to get a Yuba County Museum of History started in Yuba County. Okay, vision and purpose: celebrate and preserve the Yuba County history, create a permanent home for artifacts and archives, provide educational and cultural program, and that being the real emphasis here is trying to educate our children and the population in Yuba County, and also strengthen tourism, identity, and civic pride. Okay, new era of prosperity in Yuba County. Ever since we had the 2016 transfer of Bullard's Bar, water, and power, things have gotten a lot better in Yuba County and trying to move us ahead in Yuba County in various ways. Our wealth is in our stories. Gold rush, cultural crossroads with many different ethnic groups, founding of Marysville, many legendary figures here in the city of Marysville, and of course the pioneering spirit with many of the Donner Party survivors who rebuilt their lives here, embodying their resilience. Legacy of industry and innovation built our counties. Community pillars, Right Out Hospital, natural resources. We have terrific sand and gravel, lumbering industries, agriculture, and of course Camp Beale, and now Beale Air Force Base. Where do we put such a museum? We have some small museums right now that are doing a good job of trying to provide the history, but we don't have a county-wide museum. We're one of the very few counties in California that does not have a county-wide museum. We look around at our neighbors, and we find a multitude of museums in all of our surrounding neighbors. I can only say that, I've been over to Sutter County. I'm sure most of you have too. The terrific museum they've had going there for over 60 years. But we don't. I've been to Placer County, and they've got a multitude of large museums there that talk about many things about their history. Okay, and how do we tell our stories? Well, we've got a tremendous number of authors and historians in Yuba County. And we already have a multitude of books that have already been produced and written about the history here. Now we just need to keep that going and get that information out and present it to people so that they want to read it and want to be able to see it. And these are some of the coalition of support that awaits a central partner. Yuba-Sutter Historical Association, a tremendous group up in the foothills of Forbes-town. We also have the Yuba County Historical Resources Commission, a county group that's working hard. Mary Aaron Museum, Friends for the Preservation of Yuba County History is taking care of the historic Marysville Cemetery. And the Wheatland Historical Society has a museum there in Wheatland. Why the Packard Library? Well, it's a historic building in its own right. It was the Marysville City Library from 1906 to 1972. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places, architecturally significant, centrally located, and we believe that it would be an ideal adaptive reuse opportunity for museum and event space. Mission of the Yuba County Museum of History is to preserve and exhibit the history and genealogy of Yuba County, to partner in supporting county historical organizations, to provide educational programs in conjunction with local schools, and to stimulate tourism and local economy by providing a dynamic, professional, and educational institution in the Yuba County seat, Marysville, California. That is our mission statement. This group has been in place for a number of years, but has recently been reactivated to try and get a central Yuba County museum started. Threefold return for our community. Community and identity, preserves our unique local stories for future generations. Education and legacy provides vital curriculum resources and field trip opportunities for local schools. That happens to be my personal passion in life. And economy and tourism, trying to pull people from other counties into Yuba County, into Marysville, to show them what the history is here in Yuba County. And it strengthens the regional brand of Yuba County as a destination with a rich heritage. John Q. Packard, he was a very wealthy man, and he built 2 libraries during his lifetime. He built one in Salt Lake City and one in Marysville. As compared to Andrew Carnegie, which some of you may know, built over 1,600 libraries throughout the United States and Great Britain. But John Q. Packard built the library, and it was the Marysville City Library from 1906 to 1972 when Yuba County took over library operations. Right now, we're 175th incorporation anniversary. We have a generational opportunity to fill this cultural gap of not having a museum, and we hope that this will provide an opportunity to try and get a museum, countywide museum going in Marysville. I visited a couple of museums, Carnegie libraries, that have adaptively reused their historical libraries as museums. The Petaluma Historical Library and Museum transformed a former Carnegie library into a thriving museum. That's the top picture. And then the San Luis Obispo History Center did the same thing for their historic library building, and that's the lower picture. And both of those are, I've been through the San Luis Obispo Museum, and they have exceptional displays and information about their community. Potential community benefits: educational partnerships with local schools and colleges, tourism and economic revitalization, community gathering and cultural event space, preservation of irreplaceable historical resources, and increased downtown activity and civic engagement. We have a very active group that is very passionate about getting a museum started, and if you can help us out, I think we will show you just what we can do. So it'll take a little bit of time, but we would go to work working with various history nonprofits and organizations for a period of time to develop a business plan and fundraising strategy, conduct feasibility and structural assessments on the building, develop phased renovation and funding strategies, build public-private partnerships, and engage local historians, tribal communities, education, and other stakeholders to put together a permanent home for the Yuba County Museum of History. Thank you very much.
I'm not putting you off. I'm just describing process.
Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor mentioned, we do appreciate the effort that's gone into the into the presentation and the museum concept. The city hasn't selected a use for the Packard Library, a preferred method at this point. The museum is one possibility, but there may be many others. Mr. Flores, his staff, and I have been developing an RFI process to do just that. And we want to solicit as many ideas from any interested party on the adaptive reuse of the library. One of the things that the RFI is meant to do is distinguish between ideas and actionable, feasible projects. What, in polling our council members, what the city needs to understand and our council members need to understand is how the restoration would be funded, how the ongoing operations and maintenance would be funded, whether the city or an outside funding source would be expected, what quantifiable tourism, economic development, tax revenue, community benefits would be garnished, and what happens if the funding falls short. That's important because the Packard Library will likely cost millions to renovate, millions, and probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to operate and maintain every year. So this is not a small project. To put things in perspective, my understanding is the Historic Resources Commission receives $5,000 or received $5,000 from the county to use for this type of effort. That will likely not cover the utility bills for a month at the Packard Library. So it's going to be expensive, and that's a concern I have. But that is why we're asking, or we're intending to do an RFI, request for interest, to anybody, any party, whether that be for-profit, nonprofit, private, public, to give the council alternatives and allow them to select the best alternative for the property. That RFI, Dan, if I'm not mistaken, will likely be discussing it with individual council members in the next few weeks, probably have it out on the street late June or early July.
That's correct. It's under development now, and we should have really good progress by the end of next week, and then we intend to meet with the council members individually to go over each property, which there are several, and then after we review that, then we'll finalize the RFI, and then we'll send it out to potential developers.
And so, to me, the question is not whether the museum is a good idea or not. The real question is which proposed use will be the best prospect for restoring, operating, maintaining a building of this scale while providing some meaningful benefits to the community. So I think everybody's going to get a shot at this, including your group. And I would encourage you even to look at partnering with others that may have better resources to put that proposal together.
We realize that this is a challenging operation, and we have discussed with other museums, and most of them have all had similar challenges to getting readapting an old Carnegie Library or whatever the building happened to be. And it took some time, but the money came, and they did what they did to make their museum in their various cities. And we think we can do the same thing. And we've been putting together a business plan and trying to come up with grant opportunities and people to partner with. And we haven't got it all together yet. It's going to take a little time, but we are focused on making this happen. So.
I have a quick suggestion, Dale. And that would be to make your business plan location agnostic. The reason being, whatever challenges there are with the Packard Library building as compared to something else, that could actually turn some people off because of those challenges. Whereas if you have a library, Yuba County Library, location TBD, right, to be determined, that may be an easier sell in terms of finding support for it. And I'm not saying it couldn't be the library. I just think business-wise, if I were looking at a business plan and it was focused on one property, and all of a sudden as a potential supporter, I'm going to look at that and weigh the pluses, and it could get in the way. And it is a Yuba County. We've been corresponding back and forth on another location within the city, which would be very attractive. But it is a Yuba County library, so the county needs to be involved in this too, and somehow, to the extent, the city's not going to be able to write a check to make this happen.
Sure.
But the city can assist in making it happen, right? But it should be a city and county endeavor. We're 12,000 people and there's 85,000 in the county, so let's bring all the groups to bear. And maybe when you chatted with the county?
Yes, we have talked to all the supervisors and just done an informal basis and gotten their enthusiastic support. But it takes, again, we put a business plan together, and it doesn't just focus on this particular building. The funding for a museum could maybe go to some other building. But we have to start someplace, and this situation came up, an opportunity, and we wanted to let you know that we're interested.
We have a liaison committee with the county supervisors. And Madam Clerk, would you please communicate a discussion of a Yuba County library the next time we get together with the Yuba County supervisors? And we'll chat with them and see if they have any ideas. I think you need the county and the city, you need the full county particularly, support on this. And I'm encouraging you, I'm not trying to dissuade you with respect to the Packard Library. I'm encouraging you on the idea of a museum, and let's get the best location for it given the circumstances. So I'll make sure we talk about that the next time we meet with the county people, and maybe we can raise, what you want to do is raise your profile now. That's marketing.
That would be appreciated. Obviously, it's going to take a united effort to get a first-class museum together between the city, the county, the public, and various historical groups and grant writers, and they're putting in for grants that I don't even know about. Yes, it's going to take an effort of all concerned to put this together, but we need to get started, and that's one reason why I'm here tonight, is to let you know that we're here to make this happen.
Someone's got to hit a blank sheet of paper first. Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay.
And I understand Judy Mann had sent a letter she wanted read.
Yes.
I'll offer her the opportunity to do that in person at a future meeting.
Okay. But I do have two other speakers that would like to present on this issue, or this item.
Two other people want to comment?
Yes.
Let's see, I don't think, council? Exactly. You'll have a chance in a moment. Okay. Thank you for reminding me, council. Okay, we now move to the community consent calendar. And this is an opportunity for anyone to comment on anything on the agenda, on the consent agenda, or anything not on either agenda, which would include this matter here. And do we have anyone wishing to speak?
Yes, we do. The first speaker is going to be Mark Roman, and he wants to speak about the Right Out ER Red Zone bus stop parking.
Mark, welcome. Would you help him with the microphone there? Thank you. Mark, I've been told about the issue you're here for. It's something to do with the bus stop right in the middle of an emergency no parking zone.
It says
next to the
no.
hospital.
Okay, it says.
How the hell does that happen?
Okay, it says no parking, fire zone, bus stop. It has. That's all. It's all there. Okay. Now, I've gone up the ladder, and I've gone up the ladder, and the last thing I was told that Ride Out has to get an okay from you guys to approval, say yes, you can do it because it's the bus stop. They can't move a bus stop unless you get the approval. So I'm coming to you to fast track that. Yes, once they send you the paperwork, that you will say okay. You see, because I've talked to his. I've talked to his lieutenant, and when it was a lieutenant, okay, and he said he would talk to the Marysville Police Department to not to park there. I've talked to the Yuba County Sheriff's Department, and they said that they would talk to their people not to park there, which they've been doing a pretty good job. Well, this last week they started parking there because everybody else, the Yuba City Police Department, the Sutter County Sheriff's Department, the Highway Patrol, and AMPHA 1 parks there all the time. So why shouldn't they park there? You know what I'm saying? And I'm at the point right now, I talked to the hospital, and they said that they have to get the okay from you before they can move it.
Here's the deal.
Uh-huh.
I know, I've been briefed on this, that everybody involved, the hospital, the transportation company, who else? Our staff, everybody's talking about this, and I don't know exactly where it's going. It's obviously something that needs to be dealt with.
Because either that or...
But when you have three people talking about something,
okay,
I cannot at this very moment predict the outcome.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that if Sutter County, the Highway Patrol, and them are told not to park there, park down on the other side where they can, then they wouldn't have to park there because it's a bus stop.
Everything's being considered. I know that.
Okay, well, I'm just at the point right now that I have to get off at 8th Street. Elderly people have to get off at 8th Street to walk back to the hospital. That's not right.
No, I agree with you. It's a problem.
Okay, and it can be taken care of here, now, because all you do is just stamp it and say, hey, don't park there.
See this? This is not a magic wand.
Well, doesn't the buck stop here?
No. Hey, look, we take this seriously.
Okay.
And I know serious people are giving it a lot of thought. And
well, I'm getting tired of having to get off at 8th Street with other people. You know what I'm saying? Having to walk back with and afraid they're going to fall because your sidewalks aren't to the standards that they should be. You see, your sidewalks are real. You get off 8th Street, you have to walk down a steep grade to the street because it has an asphalt ramp. Then you go over to 7th Street, you go up the other side on a steep grade. Then you walk, and there's all kinds of sidewalks that are like this because of roots and this and that. Then you get to the park, which is not as bad, but you still have the difference in road. Well, when you're an elderly person, which you're going to get one of these days, that you're going to you probably won't have to because you're in the government. You'll probably have the means to do this stuff. But I don't have the means just to get in a car and drive down. I used to be able to, but I can't do it no more because I can't afford the gas, the insurance, the tags, and everything that goes with it. Okay, I can afford the car, but I can't afford the gasoline or anything. You see what I'm saying? And when you start using public transit, you start seeing all the crap that we have to go through, walking across the streets, walking on the sidewalks. The first thing I did on this thing, I got 2 blown tires the first 2 weeks I was driving this thing because the roads were so uneven and stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Sir, you have been...
I'm talking about the bus right now. That's all. But I'm just telling you, there's other problems that you have because the roads aren't to par, the sidewalks aren't to par. I mean, and I don't want to have to call and go to the media, go to Facebook and start saying this stuff that you guys aren't taking care of it because I came in March.
Sir, now you're becoming accusatory.
No. I came in. No, sir.
Pardon me. I have the floor here.
Okay, but I came in March.
Listen to me.
Yes.
We are paying attention to you, and you are going on as if we're not. And that is offensive. I know the police department, city management, and hospital management are all looking into how to fix this. And so it's, please don't get accusatory.
Okay. I came in and I started talking to you guys about in March. I started talking about this stuff in March. And it's just, yesterday, he just found out about it yesterday. So they're not bringing it up to you guys. That's what my problem is.
Well, here it is. We know about it.
Now you know about it?
Yes.
Please take care of it.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
And hopefully you guys aren't getting over you guys have to use the public service.
We appreciate your problem and I'm ready for more.
All right, our next speaker is going to be John Miller, and he would like to speak about City of Marysville historic buildings.
Welcome.
Somewhat of a challenge, huh? I met Dale back in December when he started up this museum for Yuba County. And I love museums. I love historic buildings. I thought I would join up and help him out, which I'm glad to do. I came here in Marysville in 1969, a little over 50 years ago. I've been a general contractor for the last 25, maybe 30 years, mostly in Yuba City, but some in Marysville. Been watching Marysville get involved in different financial situations and a lot of problems. And I understand that financial problems are everywhere, and they're quite a challenge, and especially for the city of Marysville. The last time I spoke here was when we had a meeting about the hotel site, that corner lot, what the public wanted to do with it, what suggestions they had. And what I took away from that meeting was the public expressed they wanted to be like Nevada City. That was numerous comments about Nevada City. And I would like to see that happen. What's the difference between Marysville and Nevada City? We haven't capitalized on our history, our architectural history. We're busy putting in 7-Elevens, car washes, things that'll generate revenue for the city, can fix their paved streets so their public will be happy.
When did you say you came here?
What's that?
When did you say you came to Marysville?
1969. Remember that?
Well, then you remember that it was during the 70s that the heart of downtown Marysville was wiped out.
That's right.
That was the big problem.
I worked for the mayor. I did a job for the mayor at that time. Excuse me. And that's when Mervyn's came in. Remember that? Were you around?
I knew about it.
Okay, so
anyway, but you're in favor of. You're speaking in favor of what?
I'm in favor of the city of Marysville promoting their historic buildings. And that includes the general population of 1925, 1935 beautiful little houses that have great potential. They're very realistically affordable for California. And I see the growth coming this way out of the Bay Area, out of Sacramento. The money's coming here, and I think we ought to support the historic value that we have here. On a positive note for the city of Marysville and the building department, I talked to the owner of the Spicery. You're probably acquainted with him. He had nothing but praise for the building department. He just said they made his job so easy renovating that building. Now, I've become acquainted with Judy Mann in the Info Center. She has nothing but praise for the city of Marysville, helping her in her little business of promoting historic walking tours. Dan Flores, his office is in the building department. He welcomed me in to come and talk to him at any time. Very generous with his time, anything I wanted to talk about. I've known Dan for a number of years from when we used to belong to the same business club. I think we're going in the right direction here.
Kind of you. I do too. The city, you're preaching to the choir right now. I can guarantee you are preaching to the choir. And we feel the same way. We absolutely feel the same way. I know Dan feels people in official positions that show up every day, clock in and do things for the city, they're on the same page.
Things are getting better here.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I do own a historic house down the street here. And it's the only property I own in Marysville. Most of my property's in Yuba City, because that's where most of my business took place. But I do like the buildings here, and I like Yuba County, and I really support the museum committee 100%.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Appreciate you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome anytime. Madam Clerk.
The last one I have is an anonymous question card asking about the Packard Library and would like an update.
Who?
It's anonymous.
A letter?
Anonymous.
Asking about the Packard Library.
Yes.
Well, I think we've discussed the Packard Library enough, and we'll take it from there. Moving the consent calendar, matters considered routine, therefore generally approved by one motion, unless a council member or the city manager first requests the matter be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and action. What's the will of the council?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Unanimous, Madam Clerk. Discussion and action calendar. These matters will be discussed and acted on separately. First matter, item number 6 on the agenda, CDBG Pavement Rehabilitation Project 3, Phase 3 Project Award Contract 24-10. Recommendation is to pass a resolution to award a contract in the amount of approximately $3.2 million to Lamon Construction Co. for pavement rehabilitation of streets in the neighborhood north of State Route 20 and west of D Street in Marysville under the Community Development Block Grant Program. Jeremy, please proceed quickly. With the fire projects. Community. Package included alternate area work additional already exceed construction contract.
also part of that. Question is, following that.
This spring?
Well, I'm sorry, this summer, this coming summer, we're a little late.
Well, it's still spring, so they better get cooking.
Yeah, by the time we award and go through the process,
Thank you, Jeremy. This was originally on the consent agenda, but I thought it would be more appropriate, since we're doing something to streets, and streets matter. Streets matter, that we showcase this on the discussion and action agenda. Do we have any public comment on this matter, Madam Clerk?
No, not
Any questions or comments from the council? Sir.
I'm just curious on the SB1 if we need to use that. Are we funded heavily enough there to finish this?
So, John and Jeremy may have to help me with this, but my understanding is with contingency, we are over the grant amount, with contingency. Without the contingency, we are within the grant amount. So if we have to use contingency, we may have to use SB1 funds.
No, my question is, we have sufficient funding in the SB1?
Yes.
Money? Okay.
What that will do, though, is it will diminish the amount of work we had otherwise scheduled for SB1.
A lot's going to get done. It just hasn't been figured out exactly yet. Isn't that right?
Yes, and do we have the SB1 out to bid yet? Not quite yet.
Sure.
Would you like to remind everyone what that next SB1 is that you are working on?
I don't think we should be moving on discussion on that.
Perfect.
Any other questions or comments? What's the will of the council?
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. No abstains? Unanimous, Madam Clerk. Okay. Next is another matter that should be showcased, even though it's submitting an application. It's the kind of thing we are doing because we have engaged a grant writer. The item is item 7 on the agenda, and that is a fiscal year 25 Rural Law Enforcement Violent Crime Reduction Initiative grant program. Recommendation is to adopt an appropriately numbered resolution authorizing the city manager or his designee to submit an application for funding for the Marysville Investigations Modernization Program to the Bureau of Justice Assistance under the fiscal year 25 Rural Law Enforcement Violence Reduction Initiative grant program. Chief Manson, about it, please.
Thank you. So this is really to focus on violent crime. As you know, last week we had something serious going, or this weekend I should say, but it's to really focus our attention on matters of street violence, gang violence, violence related to narcotics. And this would partially fund existing positions. But to add more detail about it, it was actually Casey that was part of the big writing of this grant. Casey, if you could come up here.
And I did want to clarify, Dan Peterson is focusing on street-related grants. Casey actually wrote this and did an excellent job.
Thank you, Chief. As Chief said, my name is Casey Diaz. I'm the Interim Administrative Services Manager for Marysville Police Department. First, I'd like to say I'm very excited to be here.
You're the interim what?
I'm the Interim Administrative Services Manager.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, very grateful for the opportunity to work with Chief and city staff. It's been a great experience so far. Regarding the grant, it's I think it's and addresses a great need in the community. I think we have a very strong proposal, and we have strong support for community partners, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I think it's great. And what's your experience at writing grants?
Well, I came from the Yuba County Sheriff's Office for 5 years working. Grants was one of my primary duties there in special projects. Yeah, we had some really good success.
Been there, done that, right?
Well, that's it. It's something exciting that for me to have that impact in the community on the public safety level. So, yeah, we've had some great success, and I think this fits in perfectly with both the grant guidelines and the needs for the city.
Again, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Glad you're on time.
Thank you.
Let's see. Any questions from the public, Madam Clerk?
Not on this item.
None. Any questions from council or comments?
I got no questions. I just want to say welcome aboard myself and thank you for your work on this, and any creative financing that can be done for any of our departments is appreciated. So, welcome, and thank you. And keep finding some stuff. Keep the department going. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, sir. What's the will of the council?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Unanimous, Madam Clerk. Okay, here we go. Another grant initiative that we're going after. Item 8 on the agenda, recommendation authorize staff to submit 2 concept proposals under the California Natural Resources Agency Urban Greening Grant Program for 1. Downtown Urban Canopy and Climate Resilient Streetscape Initiative, and 2. Ellis Lake Greenway Urban Canopy and Climate Resilience Project. Contact Jeremy Chapdelaine, Public Works Director.
I actually get to take this one.
You've been outranked.
I just have been working with our grant writers on this one. We've been, and the theme tonight is grants, it seems, but we've been dividing and conquering on these grants. Dan Peterson has been focused on public works type grants, particularly streets. He's working on some additional ones right now. I've been focusing on parks with our consultants, and PD has been looking at a plethora of different opportunities, and Casey has been helping us with those. Parks, particularly this urban greening grant, we have a different set of consultants that help us. First is Roach Campbell, Jessie Lett. You've probably all heard that name. She typically develops the conceptuals for us and really the meat of the scope of the project. And then our one of our favorites here tonight, Kathy Pease, she works to get everything organized and submitted into the grant format, whatever the million formats they have. And so Jesse and Kathy are working on this. It is actually due to be submitted tomorrow. This is a new grant to us. As I mentioned, it's the state, or the mayor mentioned, it's through the state urban greening concept proposals. And this is a 2-stage process for this grant, in that we submit a concept, very rough sketch, so to speak, for a grant. They say yes or no, we like it or not, and if they like it, then we get to do more work and submit a very detailed proposal. We have 2 projects which fit into our strategic planning. One is the Ellis Lake effort, and this is a tree planting type of exercise, but they allow you to do other things, and so we're trying to incorporate this into redoing the Ellis Lake, and this is a stretch, but draining the lake and getting the wider pathway on the west side of the lake and possibly the south side. The second proposal we're submitting is it's more straightforward. It's for the downtown area, E to the levee and 9th Street to 1st, that core downtown area. And we're looking at filling in where all of the trees died, fixing raised sidewalks, and those types of activities to make the downtown a nicer area. These grants will probably be in the $3 to $5 million range for the application. Very exciting. We'll see how we do on this. Once again, all we're doing tonight is authorizing to submit the concept proposals, but if we're successful in the concept proposals, we'll be bringing it back again for council to look at, to submit and commit to more in a detailed proposal. Once again, very exciting. We'll see how we do on it.
Clerk, any comment?
Not on this item.
Thank you. One of nature and composition of our city as advantages, and with experienced grant writers, and we're going to see how that goes. I have every reason to believe that we will see success here and there. We're not going to see success on everything, but we can see success, and these are very targeted applications, do things that everyone in the city would applaud. So there'll be more of this forthcoming. Yes.
I have a comment. Thank you so much to staff for doing this. It's much needed. I can see a lot of potential if we are awarded the grants we've talked about in the street and traffic committee. Very exciting, assuming we secure the grant. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Well, I second Councilman Rollins' comment. I'm very excited about this as well. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Okay. What's the will of the council?
I'd like to make a motion to authorize staff to submit these two concepts tomorrow.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Okay. Item number 9. Approval of SB1 Road Maintenance Rehabilitation Project List for fiscal 26-27. Recommendation is to pass a motion to approve the Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Act proposed project list for the upcoming fiscal year to be submitted to the California Transportation Commission. Jeremy.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Give us the short version.
Yeah. So this is a routine action required by the state for eligibility for the SB1 funds. It's an ongoing list, so we update it as we go. You mentioned a couple of those types of projects tonight with just the general SB1 list, as well as we're update this year is we're also including making sure to get on the list, those CDBG projects, those other projects that may require that funding as well.
Do we present the proposed activity on the city's website? We don't. We should. Yeah. And particularly when we go back to the other pavement rehab. Is that on the city's website?
Yes, those are on
I'd get this one on there too. Anything we're doing with respect to roads, I know when it comes to improving streets in the city, it gets a lot of attention, and if we're not doing that, people are wondering what the hell we're doing.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a great comment, and we'll get this exhibit on there as well.
To the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, the current pavement conditions. I think I've talked about that in the committee meeting. I think it's really good to have that legend posted, just so people maybe will look and say, "Oh, okay, we've identified what's going on with them." Thank you.
Want to say something?
I thought we had them on there, but I'll check and we'll get them up.
That should be celebrated.
It may not be in a easily findable location.
Madam Clerk, any comments from?
Not on this item.
What's the will of the council?
Make a motion.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Item number 10 on the agenda. It's election night. I wonder who's winning. Item number 10 on the agenda. Proposed zoning change to amend Section 818.98 of the City of Marysville's Municipal Code. And the recommendation is the Planning Commission recommends that the City Council amend Section 18.98 of the City of Marysville's Municipal Code and amend the Downtown Specific Plan, Table 4.2, to allow automobile uses in the mixed-use corridor with a conditional use permit and commercial recreation facility, indoor entertainment uses. I'm getting brain cramps reading this. In the mixed-use neighborhood zoning districts with a conditional use permit. It'll take some explaining. The Planning and Historic Preservation Commission considered this item at a public hearing on April 22nd, 2026. Specifically, it is recommended that the City Council, 1, by title only, introduce the subject ordinances. A, ordinance approving amendments to the Downtown Specific Plan to allow auto-oriented uses with a conditional use permit. B, ordinance approving amendments to the Downtown Specific Plan to allow commercial recreational facility indoor in mixed-use neighborhood district. C, ordinance amending Chapter 18.98 of the City of Marysville's Municipal Code to allow automobile uses in the mixed-use corridor with a use permit. D, ordinance amending Chapter 18.98 of the City of Marysville Municipal Code to allow commercial recreation facility indoor entertainment uses in the mixed-use neighborhood zoning districts with a minor use permit. Okay, Dan, Mr. Dan Flores, Community Development Director, Assistant City Manager. You got a lot of explaining to do here.
Yes, sir. And thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, and happy election night. The results don't start coming in until about 8 o'clock, Mayor, so we've got a little bit of time. We're not going to take that much time, though, because as you recall from our
I've got a national perspective. The East
I got
Coast
that. I understand.
Come on.
So, hey, from our last meeting, though, you'll recall we held a public hearing. We opened and closed a public hearing. So we did the public hearing side, but here to explain the staff recommendations tonight is Kathy Pease, our contract planner.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm here this evening, next slide, for a request to amend both our Marysville Municipal Code and the Downtown Specific Plan. So what's been happening is I'm not here full time and things are coming to the counter, and we realized we did update our zoning codes. And so there have been some requests lately to allow automobile uses in the mixed-use corridor, as well as one facility where they wanted to do an indoor entertainment. And that didn't fit nicely in our zoning code or our downtown specific plan. So we're coming forward to ask to make some changes. Next slide. So this is hard to see, I realize, kind of far away, but the shaded areas on this graphic show the mixed-use neighborhood as well as the neighborhood that we're asking to change. Next slide. So existing automobile uses can be found in the mixed-use commercial district. With the updated zoning districts within the downtown specific plan, these uses were considered legal nonconforming, meaning they could continue as long as they did not discontinue the use for more than 6 months, but were not allowed if continued with the new zoning districts. So that means that they previously had been allowed. We changed the zoning and made it legal nonconforming. So since that time, property owners have come forward wanting to expand their current businesses, relocate certain businesses, or start new businesses. And so we realized that does not fit nicely into a legal nonconforming use. So the city would like to provide flexibility and support economic development. So we are coming back for the council to consider a change to make them legal with a conditional use permit. So that means they'd need to come forward. Staff would look to make sure that they're compatible, we would have the ability to put conditions on them to make sure that any nuisance, noise, that type of thing could be regulated. So the recommendation from the Planning Commission was to allow these with a conditional use permit. Next slide. So the specific plan in Table 4.2 would be changed from not being an allowed use to one with a conditional use permit. Approval of a conditional use permit does require approval by the Planning Commission, and their decision can be appealed to the City Council. Next slide. In addition, the city's been approached about an indoor entertainment use similar to a Dave & Buster's or a Chuck E. Cheese, indoor arcade, which does not appear to be allowed in the mixed-use neighborhood district. So again, similar, it's proposed that this use be allowed under a commercial recreation facility indoor use, again with a conditional use permit so that we have the ability to put conditions. Next slide. Indoor entertainment refers to activities conducted within enclosed spaces such as buildings. It could include theater performances, live music, dance, and theater productions, gaming consoles, home theaters, indoor sports, or indoor theme parks, attractions designed for entertainment. So with that, we did go to the Planning Commission. They reviewed the proposals, and we are recommending that we amend both the City of Marysville Municipal Code and the Downtown Specific Plan. This would allow automobile uses in the mixed-use corridor and recreation facility indoor entertainment uses in the mixed-use neighborhood. With that, that concludes my presentation.
Not on this item.
To the chair. So we're talking about doing changes in, you're talking the medical arts area, or?
So the medical arts district, actually, when we brought the downtown specific plan forward, the mayor had concerns. We were making automobile uses in the medical arts district legal nonconforming, but as part of the big package I brought forward, the council actually made the change to allow automobile uses to continue in the medical arts district. So that has already been amended or part of the zoning district. This would be for the other areas.
Palmer's. Okay. I was just curious because I know that we do have some businesses in the medical arts area that have been doing vehicle repairs for almost a century.
Exactly.
So,
and they would have, that would have been the same situation, but we caught that with the big package that we brought forward.
So we're mostly talking about MUC is what I'm talking about here. Okay. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Sir, Mr. Vice Mayor.
So this would allow these in any mixed-use area, and the reason I say it that way, it's for the downtown mixed use also? Which is the D Street, 1st through 9th?
It's not every mixed use, no. It's the ones that would be shaded.
MUN.
It would be in the MUC for automobile.
Okay.
And then the entertainment ones would be in the mixed-use neighborhood. So the automobile uses would not be allowed in the mixed-use neighborhood. That would only allow the indoor entertainment.
I can add that the mixed use was actually, the entertainment one was actually the 529 5th Street, where they were interested in doing that, where the old auto dealership was. So think about that location.
Well, I'm not so concerned about the entertainment one, but I was the auto.
Yeah.
The auto and the auto one's on Ramirez Street.
And yeah, the graphic. Thank you, Maggie. That's better.
So we're looking at the MUC.
MUC for the auto.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, real quick, Mayor.
Sir.
So we're just talking about doing the MUC and the MUN changes for these two particular items tonight.
Correct.
And we're still allowed it to be open that if something, other business were to come forth in the future, that we could readdress that at that particular
Correct.
junction too. So we're not setting a hard line in the sand on any new business coming in that might want to do some sort of change. We've done this in the past. I mean,
Correct. Yeah.
just want to make sure we can keep going down the way.
Right.
When we did in the past, we didn't have a general plan done. So, okay, that's all I had. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Sir. Now, Kathy, I think we all know that the Yuba Water Agency has acquired the 1200 block on D Street, all facing its on the lake. Now, that is a permitted use?
Correct. Yes.
I don't want to see anything else there. No, thank goodness. I was under the impression earlier that there might be automobile shops on position on the lake. Great.
No.
I think what is allowed in mixed-use neighborhood?
Mixed-use neighborhood allows both residential and commercial, but more neighborhood serving commercial, things that support residential.
So all we
areas.
have right now on D Street between from 9th Street north is 2 law offices, beautiful facilities, and a proposed mega facility for the water agency would be, you're a water agency and you're going to have your headquarters on the water. It's going to be nice.
Nice, yeah. This should not impact that.
Yeah, I know it doesn't impact that, but I'm worried about somebody else coming in with an entertainment or something else. That's primarily right now, other than 2 law offices and the proposed water agency facility, it's residential. There's a child care facility right across the street from me. And I don't think anything else should be allowed in there. And so this, I think including D Street in this MUN, it might have been convenient because it abutted the Ellis Lake, which is green, parks and open space. It might have been convenient for, I didn't catch this when we did this in the update that we did recently. If I did, I'd have said no, no, no. So I'm very concerned about that. I'll express that now, and if you can come up with some means of making sure that nothing of that sort happens along that way. It's not just because I live there, because of the environment on the lake and the environment we're trying to improve. For crying out loud, we're trying to get a big grant so that we can make a wonderful walkway around the lake. I mean, and trees and what have you. I mean, we're focused on that lake, and the wrong kind of activity could dampen the enjoyment that people have of it. Anyway, I'll just leave you with that, and if you come back with a suggestion, that'd be great. Any other questions or comments? Sir.
So the automobile type businesses, this I thought this was saying it was to allow in the MUC. That's what it's saying here.
The mixed-use commercial, yes.
Okay.
So the mixed-use commercial is the pink.
Right, but
and then
let me just finish this. I think the concern the mayor had is in the mixed neighborhood, which it's not allowing for that, correct?
Correct. The mixed-use neighborhood is not making a change to automobile use. That it's confusing because the second action is the indoor entertainment use, which would be in the mixed-use neighborhood, which is more retail use. And the reason that is even coming forward is we did have a request for somebody that wanted to locate in that area.
So just to clarify, the entertainment can go in the mixed-use neighborhood.
If we make this change tonight.
Right, that's what I mean.
And then it still would require a conditional use permit.
Okay, thank you.
And Kathy made my answered my question. So basically, it's not a done deal until it goes through the Planning Commission and gets a conditional use permit,
Correct.
which may have significant conditions. So they don't just automatically get to do it.
No.
And to the chair.
Sir.
And with this new process, the Planning Commission could refuse the request, and then the potential business would then come before the council.
Correct.
To ask for that conditional use permit above and beyond the Planning Commission's guidelines. Great. Thank you.
Barring any further questions or comments, what is the will of the council?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Moved. And seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Are you not voting? Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kathy. Very much. Okay. Mr. City Manager, you're up on number 11. This is a discussion, noise ordinance discussion.
I even did a PowerPoint for this tonight. So this item they're bringing forth is based on a concern that Councilmember Rollins brought to us. A resident was concerned about noise in a neighboring facility. When we started looking into this, we found some concerns with our noise ordinance. And so tonight we're just going to discuss those concerns. No action required, but we would like some direction from council on where they would like us to go with this. So we could quite quickly bring something to council, hopefully next meeting, for a decision to be made. So as I mentioned, discussion only. I just want to get some general direction on where to go. Next slide. What we found was that the city has enforcement authority to enforce noise issues, but it really doesn't have criteria on what excessive noise is. We have criteria for construction-related and development-related stuff, but not just general public nuisance type noise. We also found that, unlike most cities, we don't have hours, quiet hours, and in fact, in just chatting with the vice mayor, he said, "Don't we have hours that stop at 10?" And so I looked into our ordinances, and we don't. So next slide. Oh, actually, back up. Sorry about that. Typical ordinances are either 10 to 7, 7 days a week, or 10 to 7 on weekdays, or Sunday through Thursday, and a little later, 11 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. Those are the typical city type of quiet times. There's some more strict, some with different hours, but the majority of them are those hours there. So next slide. Our recommendation is to establish quiet hours, and we would recommend what we just showed you, the 10 o'clock on 5 days and the 11 o'clock on the 2 weekend days. We would recommend a separate ordinance from the section from the planning, CEQA, construction stuff. We just want to keep that separate because they're quite a bit different in what we would allow. We do not, at least I do not recommend using a sound meter or requiring sound meter readings when an officer goes out to determine if there's a noise issue. However, just for referee purposes and reference purposes, we would put in the ordinance some sound DVA levels. The typical are 55 in residential areas and 65 in downtown mixed-use areas. A little louder in the downtown area, and I think the expectations are different. So next slide. We would also recommend different standards for how an officer would determine excessive noise in purely residential areas versus downtown or mixed-use areas. And I think we've got some work to do to figure out exactly how that works zoning-wise and such. But, and I'll let everybody read that. But basically we're saying in the residential areas, you measure that from the other person's, the complainant's house with the windows shut, because that's the intent, not to hear it while you're trying to sleep or have a peaceful evening. For the downtown mixed-use area, it's more complaint-driven, and so reasonable levels of sound associated with lawful business operations, entertainment venues, restaurants, bars, festivals, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean they get to carry that sound till 2 o'clock in the morning. The expectation is they quiet down after the 10 or 11 o'clock curfew, so to speak. And then the last paragraph just gives a little more meat to how our officers would decide if it's an actual violation. And I think that's the last slide. So what we would do next, if council directs us, is to convert that into an actual recommended ordinance set with the assistance of our city attorney. But what we wanted tonight was any comments on whether that seemed like a logical or reasonable approach, or you would like to see something different.
And for your information, the average decibels of his talk was 60 decibels with a maximum of 77. So 77, you'd be in trouble in the questions or comments.
Public first, Mayor.
Oh, thank you, sir. Any questions from the public?
Not tonight.
Vice Mayor.
Because this kind of came up in a little bit of a discussion the other day, I'm concerned about how would we handle the racetracks, Simpson Lane racetrack. That's the entertainment, the MX or motocross MX, the sound for those, because I don't want to put limitations on them of what they can do. But they're both in the entertainment phase of the
They're not in the city limits.
Well,
what's that? I can't understand, Margie. I'm sorry.
The racetrack is not in the city limits.
It is not what? I'm sorry.
Simpson Lane is not inside the city limits. We have no jurisdiction.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
But the motocross is.
Yeah.
And this is the type of feedback I would want. I know we've given the approval to have that motocross track down there, and frankly, it's our facility.
Right.
I would say we would carve out certain areas, either by zoning or by physical location, that may allow a louder sound. Now, I know when we did the racetrack, there is some noise coming from it, but what I would question is if we measured it based on a residential standard with somebody's window shut, would they hear it at night?
And that it can be limited to certain hours. You just coordinate with them.
But those, and I know it's not in our jurisdiction now, but those do run past 10 o'clock. But then the other one is the ball field. Not only, I mean, one, they have the fireworks. We all know that. And even their loud, their announcements. I mean, I can hear them at my house.
And
but
I have an
I don't want
expert
to put
right
them
here.
in a bad position either.
I have an expert right here, but they usually carve out exceptions for those types of activities.
Exactly. We could draft the ordinance to list the things that are exempt: fireworks, city sanctioned events, those types types of things. The other thing I wanted to mention is other ordinances I've done in other jurisdictions, they set the limitations on the property line, and they do it by decibels and not dBA necessarily, because dBA is a average over a 24-hour period. We probably don't want to limit single event, but we want to be careful that we capture what's going on in that time, if that makes sense.
Sir.
Yeah. So I have a little concern over this, sure you can imagine. Okay. I went through this exact same situation for my business, Stassie's Fourth Ward Tavern, about 11 years ago, when I had a neighbor complaining about too much noise being done next door, and they lived in the fourplex apartment next on the other side of the property line. So I ended up putting up a decibel meter in the backyard, and I will definitely 100% reassure you, nothing is louder than the trains that go through the city of Marysville. So it is, my decibel meter peaks out at 120 decibels when the train goes by.
Threshold of pain.
Well, the cheap meter, I don't know. So, but the average noise that comes in my backyard when I have people back there doing cornhole or sitting there just commuting and fellowshipping back there, it's average, 70, 80 sometimes, and they scream and so forth. I did have to negotiate with the state of California, ABC, to change my conditional use permit with the state of California from alcohol license in the backyard, that I had to stop operations at midnight in the backyard of my business. But the business itself still is open until 2 a.m. should I choose to keep it open that hour. And there are people that do congregate outside and they do thump their stereos, as annoying as it is. But it's one of those things where this is going to be an ongoing touchy sort of thing. Like if an establishment wanted to have a band, I know that one of the other entertainment venues here in Marysville, they have bands in a parking lot with permits and so forth, and that goes well into the midnight hour and so forth. So we're talking exceptions. The business I have has been around since 1870. Have they been loud like that? No. But it's been one of those things that, the 12 years I've had it, we do operations on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with my conditional use permit with the state of California till midnight in the backyard. Sometimes it is, and I only say that because you're completely correct, is that there was never a city ordinance of any way, shape, or form prior to this happening. I did my due diligence in figuring this out as a business person. So if we start doing a little bit of a hamper here, I do have concerns for future businesses and or, things of that sort. It's a little bit of a concern I have. I mean, I know that there was an issue with the Silver Dollar when it was open that they...
With who?
The Silver Dollar when they were open, that they did music, bands and so forth, and either outside in their courtyard or inside. And this would be problematic. The same thing with another establishment on the other side of East 12th Street that does live music and so forth. They keep their door open so they got airflow going through there and so forth. There are people that hear it. I hear that place play bands, and I live 2 blocks away.
That's the old pizza place?
Yes. So these places of entertainment can be severely hampered, and it's already difficult for these places of entertainment in today's society with just things in general. So I don't know if there's any sort of variance or consideration be done for, I'm not going to say legacy or anything of that sort, but established businesses. I don't want to hamper established businesses. And should somebody have the gall to open up a new business or restaurant here in the city of Marysville and they want to play music, gosh darn, this sucks. So,
if I may.
Yes.
I agree with you. I think that my sense of things is that at least in certain areas of town, certainly downtown, we would like to see more dining and entertainment. And it's the history of the city is dining and entertainment downtown. The Wood Butcher, once they start playing the songs and the karaoke is going on, you can hear them about a block away. And we don't want to have, let's look at all of the potential consequences before we craft something and the impact it might have on businesses that sustain our city and sustain the character of our city. Marysville's always been a party town, always has been. And I'd hate to create a ordinance that would dampen the spirit of the city, if you will.
If I may, also, Mayor, I agree with you 100% on that. On a nice warm summer night, I like to keep my windows open where I live. And I hear the train at Beatty Junction crossing the tracks and just hear thunk thunk for a 2-mile train at all hours of the night. I mean, on a nice warm night, the decibels will get above 70 in any particular general location, mostly with the train and the highway traffic. And I do hear the motocross all the way from Simpson Lane to Riverfront Park when they're doing their bikes late at nights and so forth on a nice warm summer night. It's something that I'm not sure can be curbed. I'm not sure where this came from. But, I mean, I understand the need to have the conversation. I have concerns.
To the chair.
Sir.
We all know and love the sounds of Marysville, the trains. I don't know if I could stand not hearing the motorcycles right across the river every weekend. I love it. I love the sounds of the city. What I don't like is when I hear cars and people outside a restaurant after it's closed, partying after hours, and we have no ordinance or no control of any kind.
You sound like a grumpy old man.
Because I am a grumpy old man. I live next to a wonderful event place, and on occasion, when there is no supervision, it's appalling at what goes on. And I don't think we want... By the way, our restaurants aren't open until 10. People stop eating here at 7. Don't you think it's a family town? And do we really want to encourage late-night parties?
Well, no, you're about to open up some down
on
your first floor.
Hey, we have beautiful venues, and here's and I'm not finished. I would like to reclaim my time. I also used to live in San Francisco, where there was an entire district that was warehouses, and only warehouses, and that is where the nightclubs were. And then townhouses and condominiums and mixed-use live-work moved in, more than the nightclubs. And unfortunately, those residents stopped the nightclubs from happening. Oh, plus they were priced out. So more housing came in, and that did ruin...
It's called inverse condemnation.
It did, yeah. It did ruin the nightclub scene. But, I mean, that's kind of... It moved on to more affordable areas. And so what we want to do is encourage more economic growth in homes and things like that, other than a few events, which, by the way, the police are really good at handling those few problems. And they're very rare, maybe every 2 years, that something like that would happen. And most people know, hey, there's a bar next door. Do I really want to move into this apartment? And so there's a nice balance, but we do have to have some kind of control over situations like the time of an event ending, just in case we need to use it. But to not have it isn't right. Do you follow?
To the chair. To the chair. This is complaints from residents. Yes. I mean, these are your constituents. They're not happy. They call the police department, and the police department says, I can't help you.
This is the 530?
There's no... Exactly, that's where it's at. And that's one of the complaints. I've received others. And they call the police department, and they have to go out, or they do go out. I don't know if you have to. And they simply tell them, we don't have a quiet time in Marysville. And people are like, why do you not have that? I'm like, I have no clue why they don't have that. It seems like it's in every city. You can go, Yuba-City has it. Every city I Googled has it. I think you're doing a disservice to the residents of this community by not having something in place. But that's me. Thank you.
Sir.
I think I'd be curious, the complaints in the residential areas. I don't know, you have heard some complaints you've heard, and I know you would. Are they typically from businesses, or are they from the neighbors running their stereos full blast or revving their cars up? I mean, is it more of a neighborhood thing? compared to a commercial area affecting a neighborhood?
The only recent noise complaints I've heard of is the one from Councilwoman Marjorie. But we don't get them all the time, but it's usually residential.
And what Margie, or Councilmember Rollins, what was
the majority of it is the 530.
I can't hear with it.
The majority of it is a 530.
I'm having a hard time with
the 530.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So that is the challenge, I think, that everybody's expressed here. There's probably not a big challenge in a strictly residential neighborhood like East Marysville because it's pretty cut and dry. But when we have commercial, particularly entertainment establishments next to residential, that's when we typically would get the conflict. And that's going to be the hardest part to solve. From my perspective, this is just my perspective, and that's why I said this, the expectation in the downtown area is different than the expectation in the residential area. And the expectation in the downtown area is the hardest one to deal with, particularly if it's close to the residential area or there's residential mixed in with it. In some respects, when a tenant moves into the downtown area, as an example, their expectation should be that they're going to have to tolerate more noise. So that is why I'm saying the standard needs to be different in those areas. The hard part is, where do you draw the line? What are the levels and all that stuff? So we can pursue that further and try and come up with a more reasonable solution in those interface areas. But that's going to be the challenge.
Thank you, Jim. And the number one complaint came from a Yuba County supervisor also.
If I may, I grew up in Marysville, and I don't think we had air conditioning until I was in the 5th grade. So windows open, and I think Simpson Lane was going even when I was a youngster back in the 50s. That's been there forever, and you could hear that. Hear the trains coming through town. Not much going on at Bryant Field at the time, but football games over at the high school football field, because Yuba College played there on Saturday night and the high school played on Friday night. You hear these things. They weren't too disturbing. I was just thinking about the Nakagawa property. Nakagawa property is right across the street from the Wood Butcher. Wood Butcher does a terrific business Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. It may open their windows and doors, I don't know, which makes it a little louder. That's going to create a problem. We want to factor that in. Look at the bars produce a lot of sales tax revenue.
Kathy's here, and I'm going to have Kathy be working on this, but this cannot be an issue that's unique to the city of Marysville. No. So I assume we can find different examples of what might work, and we can present that in a future meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Is that enough discussion?
I think that's good enough to get us going, right, Kathy? Yeah.
Okay, committee reports and comments, requests from council members. Mrs. Rollins.
I just want to mention that the Mary Kovalad visit for the 4th grade class was awesome. I'm so glad that they chose us, and I'd like to...
Is that on the website yet?
Oh, I posted, and Stuart did.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's on our website. I can forward it out, because they did approve one of the photos for public.
For those of you here, 4th grades, 3 4th grade classes from Mary Kovalad School came through one at a time. So about 30 kids per class?
Yes.
Something like that. And we sat them in these seats, and they all role played from city clerk all the way to here. And there was the police officers were here, the various department heads were here, explaining what makes things tick around here. And in the end, they're all lovely classes. I could tell they're having fun. And in the end, we brought all of the students up here, and including staff and what have you, and had a photograph. And it's a photograph I just absolutely prize.
I'll send it to you.
Well, let's get one up on the website.
Okay.
It was really grand.
So I'd like to thank the dedicated teachers. They're awesome.
Oh, boy.
And the last group that went through, it was really exciting. They basically, the teacher, I was walking out, and the teacher said, what was your, because they went to the Marian Museum and the Bacchae Temple, and they said, what was your favorite? And they said, City Hall. I thought that was pretty cool. And also we celebrated the Public Works Appreciation Month with the staff, and that was an awesome event as well. We're going to continue with the budget process, and I have attended several committee meetings, but nothing lightning to share. Thank you.
Hardest working person on the city council. Bless you. Mr. Gilchrist.
I have no committee reports at this time, and I would like to thank the city manager and all of the city staff for your excellent work improving the quality and the conditions of our beautiful city. Thank you.
So I also have no real committee reports this time. I do want to say thank you for an awesome lunch at the Public Works Department. That was good to be able to hang out with everybody. And you cook a mean chicken, Jeremy. Jason did a good tri-tip, so thank you for that. With that being said, I do have a request. I've made comment to you, and I've had comment with you, Mayor, on this one for the consideration of making an ad hoc committee to discuss options for the levy commission's disposition on where they're going to be, and then we can come back and report to this council.
Madam Clerk, would you please correspond with Mr. Hudson on getting that on the next, on an upcoming agenda? I know there's a busy agenda leading up to the end of the month with the budget and everything.
Yeah. If there's time, the whole point is just to have a conversation for the continued operation of the levy commission is much needed, but it's just run loose, and 95% of everything that they do goes to the city of Marysville. Yeah. And just for options for maybe continuing that way, current present mode of operation, and or other options. An ad hoc committee to bring back to this council and that commission for consideration.
Great. It will be on the agenda probably the first one of the meetings in July. Is that soon enough?
Sounds fine. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
I have no committee report. I would like to ask if we ever decide to remodel this room, that we do something about the echoing so we can hear better in here. That would be fantastic. But other than that, let's just go see what's happening with the elections.
With budget struggles, it won't be this year. My comments are that the council is very busy. You saw that we're dealing with the Cal-OSHA matter with respect to the loss of our officer, Osmar Rodarte, and we're dealing with that very strongly. You talk about Public Works. Public Works, that team, your team, that team, all the parks, they look great. They really do. Occasionally, maybe it should have been mowed 2 days ago, but by and large, they're on their job. They've been slowed down on a few things lately, and they're catching up. But the luncheon we had with them, what a great bunch of people. Hardworking, dedicated. You see them out all the time. I always wave at them when they go by. Friendly. We're so very fortunate to have a team like that taking care of the public assets, the parks, beyond the parks, buildings, equipment, the sewage, the sewer system. Great people, and we're fortunate to have them. Great leadership. Madam Clerk, any council correspondence?
Not tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. City Manager.
I have two as brief.
He can only do it if he posts them on the website.
So, just first of all,
Yeah.
First of all, more grant applications coming. We'll be bringing more forth, probably in all areas, public safety, parks, streets. Just seems that currently a lot of the grant notices of funding opportunities are coming out, and so a slug of them coming through. Secondly, regarding the fourth grade visit, if you've heard, and this is for the public, if you've heard anything about a zoo going next to Covalad School, that rumor is not true. Just to let you know.
Okay, I'm going to keep it brief, especially since I want to find out the results of my own election tonight, so that'll be interesting. I think they'll be okay, though. So we have the Rock the Block happening on June 13th, and it's the Institute of Rock is holding a big rock and roll party. It's going to end at 10 p.m., so I just want to be clear. So that'll be over at 10 p.m. It starts at 12 noon, though. And then on the 14th, I want to mention that our friends at NorCal Ciders are holding this huge Latin music festival. Been working with our police chief to make sure it's all secure, but they expect over 5,000 people to attend at Cotton Ross Arena at the stage there. So that's going to happen on the 14th, and that'll be in the evening as well. So that's a big event. And then starting on the 19th is Foodie Fridays on D Street between 3rd and 4th, and that also happens in the evenings. And then I just want to mention that our building official here did issue the certificate of occupancy for the Delta building with the 6 new residential units. They're redoing some paint at the request of our city council member, but otherwise they're ready to lease their beautiful apartment units. So take a look at those units if you ever get a chance. Stop by and do that, and we'll have a ribbon cutting for those as well. And then just lastly and very briefly, but Got Cakes opened up. Amazing. Had a long line there. It continues to sell out almost every day. Has a strong following. Is open late. Is open every day, 7 days a week. Same thing with the Yogi frozen yogurt. She tells me that she has people coming in at 10 o'clock and she closes at 10 p.m. So that's really exciting to see the activity that's occurring there on 3rd Street. We have the baker and we're just missing a candlestick maker, I think. So the butcher, the baker, and the ice cream maker, I guess, at this point. So, but that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Just clarification on the event down at Riverfront Park. There will be an admission. I think it's roughly $25.
$25, yes.
You can support or sponsor, help keep the community aware with Yuba-Sutter.LIVE.
Yuba-Sutter.LIVE. It's the truth that comes through.